Hi, so one of the things you notice when you ordered your quad is that your concealer packets are magnetic. So this is number 0. I'm going to put that up here. So okay, so we added 0 to there. We have number 1. We're going to go ahead and put number 2 that's taking a beating and number 3. Couple of things. When you first feel them, they're kind of like a little bit chalky, but they're very pigmented, right? So with a little can go a long way. I would say go little by little and build it. Another way that people like to use it is to mix it with one of their moisturizers. So I know you have Sotox, right? Which is your anti-aging serum that we use under the eyes and for wrinkles. So the other thing you can do is just get just a little bit of Sotox. Don't have to use a lot. And then just kind of mix it in. And when you do, you have more of a creamier consistency, right? So what I would say about this, if you use a moisturizer or not in it, if you don't use a moisturizer, warming it up is going to be key. All right, so that's 0. I like to use 0 on my eyelids and under my eyebrow, especially like to kind of clean it out because it's really, really bright. Another place is like right here in this area here to just make that brightness there. I will tell you, I try to keep it away from like creases or where I have wrinkles because it will highlight those areas and you don't want it to highlight, especially if you have bags under your eyes. 0 is not what you want to use. You want to use it where there's a little bit of darkness to brighten it up and not a lot of it. So I'm going to just kind of do that right there. And then here. Now you can use this, I'm using my finger because I use the moisturizer on it, but I usually use like maybe a concealer brush and just kind of bring it through that way, or a wet blender, beauty blender, and then just blend it that way. Alright, so that's for like the brightness. And you can use this also like right over like after the blush to highlight this area. You can do that to kind of brighten it up. So wherever you want to bring out light and bring the face out, then 0 would be good. My favorite is the new one. My favorite that I like to use is number 1, right? Because it has that green tone, and I use it where I have redness. Like right here, there's a pimple that wants to come out. All of this, I'm going to use a different color because that's not, but this one has red. The rest is just kind of scarring, so I'll use a different color for that. But then what this does, it neutralizes the red, right? So when it neutralizes it, you can go ahead and go over it with your foundation, and it gives you a bit of a clean slate that way. Okay, so that's 1, good for neutralizing reds. I got 1 big one right under here. It's also, I know why it's happening, but they're in quarantine. Okay, so that is with 1. Okay, so with 2, I use it mostly for brightening under my eye because the 0 is just too white for my skin tone. Okay, 0 to brighten under here will be really good for like my mom's skin tone that's really white. But 2 helps a lot. But what I usually do, if I have dark circle under my eyes, which I don't today because I had a really good night's rest yesterday. But when I do, I use number 3 first because 3 is also a neutralizer for like the darker purplish, like brownish circles that come in the eye. You want to use number 3 to give a neutralized look, and then you can go over with a brighter concealer if you want to pop it out. Does that make sense? So I'm going to still go with 3 to show you, and I'm just going to warm it up. Now I use a little at a time because you don't want it to like crease on you, especially under your eyes, because this is usually where we have either bags or the wrinkles forming. Like I have the wrinkles forming right here. My 44 years are showing. So it's because I smile so much. You see that? Right. So this usually neutralizes the area. Then I can go over with my foundation, and then I'll brighten it with number 2 as that concealer there. Does that make sense? Okay, so you see how it's like kind of coming together. So we went over 0. I use it over eyes, brightening corners. Use it as a highlighter. Can be done also. 1 for any redness that you have. Like some people get red here, or they get their redness right here under the nose. It's a good area to use that. Pimples, breakouts, that would be great. 3 to neutralize dark circles, and then 2 to brighten. Okay? Alright, so I think I'm good with this. Now some people do it a little bit with translucent powder, so you don't mess around with it a bit. You could do that. I'll do it on just those right there because I don't want that to move much. I'm not young enough to be baking that long. You know, my skin gets dry. So I'll have that there, and then I'll go over with my foundation. So I'm going to do my foundation, and I'm going to come back with putting number two on under my eyes so you can see what I mean about just brightening that up. Again, you can use your finger, warm it up, and when you do, you have something like that. You can, well, that one was a little bit easy because I had the cream in it. So warm it up. Use that one right there. See that color difference? You can also use a makeup spatula, right? So I'm gonna do it number 4 right now. So sometimes what I do with this is, like, if I'm going to the beach, maybe while you're working out, you can scoop a little bit of this, right? And this may not be important because when you're working out, why wear makeup? But for me, that I like to have an even skin tone. I might do this, right? And I'll have that on there. And then I'll take my SPF 30 or your moisturizer, either one. This is a moisturizer, primer, SPF 30 all in one. So what I'll do is I'll put a squirt of that and I'll mix it, and it becomes like a tinted moisturizer. But and then I cover it, and because our concealers are waterproof, right? So you're not looking to go really dark. You're just looking to just add maybe a little bit of color, and let me just dab that in a bit, you know, and just kind of give you even skin tone, but also know that it's not going to drip or go away while you're doing your makeup. You see that? You kind of go over it. That's it. And that becomes your foundation. Now, I use the darker color. I use number 4 for that, just to show you the difference right there. And then you go over and it will stay on. And that's it. Because it is waterproof, sweat-proof. These concealers were made for women, for people actually, that had gotten third-degree burns on their skin, and they used it to kind of cover up some of those colorings and stuff. So it's meant to withstand a lot. It's a German company that does this. All right, I hope that helps. All right, last but not least, I'm going to show you how to put on the concealer with a brush. So some people like to do it with stippling. So you just put it on here, and then I usually start where you want to go the brightest first. So you always want to kind of bring it out and then come in, because that's where the most of it's going to be at, and then you just stipple it in. And you can do it that way instead of with your finger. The great thing about doing it with your finger is that it warms it up. So by keeping it warm, it comes out really, really smoothly. But then by stippling it, you just make sure you're not using too much. Does that make sense? So see how it brightened it up more than this side? All right. So that's how I use number 2 under my eye. The 3 neutralized any dark circles. And then I just brightened it up there. And then I'll just put some little bit of blush. Hope that helps you.